missing out on the joys of life? Remember to enjoy every minute of it. Good morning.
All right. Once again, it is the Color Commentary crew where we give you views from a different side. Today, we're going to be talking about the brand new Pixar movie, Soul. And of course, I am your host, Rashad Waters here. And I didn't even have to put on a costume today because how I dress is how the main character dresses. As you can see, I have on a sweater with turtleneck here and the mustache and the glasses. I have a different hat because, you know, I'm not that old. And I am a musician. This movie is basically about me.
He's a band director.
And band director.
At high school.
Let me go ahead and bring on my co-host here, my compadre, Mr. Trevor.
There are a lot of Garcias in there. Gracious, I'm gonna find you though. But yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Chuck Taylor here. It's been a while. 2020 is finally over. We'll see what 2021 has. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe to us. We have a lot of new things dropping. We are ready to get back into the game. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about Soul. I got a different perspective, I think, than a lot of people.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the non-spoiler review, sir. We'll just take about 3 minutes on this total. It's a minute and a half apiece on the non-spoiler review. Go ahead, sir.
No problem. So, I guess with Soul, to me, first of all, I think it's good just to see, black animation, in Pixar, and I thought that was pretty cool to see. I thought the movie was an enjoyable movie. It's not the most comical Pixar movie like some of like Toy Stories and some of the other movies that are just like hilarious. They have to me a little more deeper meaning with this one. I thought it wasn't too long, and I think it could keep the attention of the audience pretty well. With adults and children watching it, it had something for a little bit of both. I found myself kind of laughing at like little side jokes that nobody caught but me. I'm like, ha! I'm like, nobody's laughing. But that was a joke. That was hilarious. So I thought it kept me entertained. It wasn't the best Pixar movie I've ever seen, but it definitely wasn't the worst. I enjoyed it, and I definitely learned. Had to have some questions with my own self about life and what it means to me. So it gets a little deeper, especially the older you are that you watch it. I think the deeper meaning comes more for the older audience. The kids, they may be like, oh, I liked it, but then it's like they may kind of forget about it. It's not going to be as memorable as some of the other movies I think Pixar brought out.
All right. So very good, sir. Nice and to the point. You did it.
I did it! 2021.
I think surprisingly, I didn't really care for this movie. And I'm probably one of only a handful of people in the entire world that didn't. Perhaps I have no soul. But I think for me, I think the quality of the movie was great. I think it was well done. It looked good. I just think maybe the message didn't resonate for me personally. So I'm just gonna say right from the beginning, I'll go ahead and recommend movie to watch. I recommend people watch this movie because I think for most people it's gonna be a very enjoyable ride. It just, for me personally, for the message that was taught, it was hard for me to digest it, and because of that, it was hard for me to appreciate, all the other things that went along with all the other positive qualities that went along with this movie here. So we'll go ahead and get into that during the non-spoiler review, and so you can see where both of us are coming from. You probably will agree with Charlie. All right, here we go. Spoiler. That's playing piano, son.
Getting into the group. What is it? The zone.
Getting in the zone, bro. Getting in the zone.
Yeah, he was killing that zone there.
But what's your thoughts there, sir?
Oh, okay. So with my non-spoiler, let's see here. I really like the beginning of the movie, how they kind of you showed this person, the main character. What's his name? I forgot his name.
I think it's Joe, isn't it?
Is it Joe? Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Joe.
Maybe Joe, maybe not. Sorry, but the main character, Joe, he's like, living his life. He's a band director. He looks like he's really trying to succeed, right? And he finally gets his break. It's like the audience, everybody gets to like, oh, I finally kind of feel that with him at the beginning of the movie. And like, okay, I thought Jamie Foxx did an awesome job too. I really enjoyed him, his voice over on the character. So once he finally got his break, and he was in the zone and everything like that, and like then he dies by falling into a darn hole, a dang manhole in the dang ground. And it was kind of crazy because he should have died like 10 times before that. To be honest.
I did like that.
But that was like, it was like a shock. I was like, oh shit, did he just die? I looked at my kids, like, he just died? He's like, nah, he didn't just die that fast, did he? I mean, I know the movie's sold, but dang, I mean, that's like 15 minutes in the movie. So that was like kind of shocking. So I like how they grabbed the audience with that, kept our attention. Definitely how they portrayed the afterlife type of thing. That was a cool portrayal of that. I never really seen it. It wasn't like it still had the light thing, but it was more like a more structural, instantaneous. Like the people that died were like older people on there. That was like, oh, he must be instant death. He's like, where am I at? What am I gonna do? I got other stuff I gotta do. He must be an instant death. Accident death or something like that. So I like how they threw all those little curveballs in that. It kind of had you thinking like, I wonder what it is, when we die. I mean, a lot of us have that question. So to see it kind of play out on the movie was kind of interesting. But I think the main thing, one, you really got to kind of understand. He thought that he was, I guess, when he died, he actually got to look at his life, and he had to help. Was it 22?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It helped 22 try to find her or his spark.
His spark. Right.
And he looked at his life and like, God, I didn't do anything that I want to do in life. He wasn't young, so he had time, but he just wasn't successful on very many scales of anything. I was like, dang, this is sad. So, and he wanted his whole mission is just to get back to Earth, so he can basically look himself in the mirror like, actually, okay, I lived my life and I did something with it. I did what I was thought I was put on this earth to do. I did my spark or whatever my purpose is.
30 seconds there, sir.
Huh?
30 seconds.
Oh, okay. So it's fast.
It goes fast.
So I really like how the whole journey back to his body happened. I thought that was a fun ride. I like how 22 really got to be in the driver's seat, and he was a cat, and she was like just trying things for the first time, like the pizza and food and just life itself. And kind of seeing like how he took everything for granted, and because she doesn't know how to do this, she was like getting all the friends, she was having more success at everything, and he was like, wow, I need to like really just relax and just get off myself and just enjoy life like 22 is doing. And I think I would have had a better experience. So it's fast. I got a lot more. I'll probably jump in on Rashad's time. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it definitely made some good points about life and your journey, and what you're doing, what's your purpose and goals. And I think everybody can just look at each other, look at yourself, and just find like, hey, maybe I need to check what I'm doing just to make sure when I pass away or when I go, I can look back at my life and say, wow, I had some meaning here. So I thought it was pretty cool to see it that way.
Okay. Well, I'll start out with some positive things there, sir. First of all, I really like the music. Joe is a heck of a piano player, bro. Like, he was just like, from the moment he sat down, like, I thought he was going to be struggling a little bit because he was nervous, so he was just going to mess up completely. Like, now once he started feeling himself, it was like, oh, okay, bro. Like, you can play. you know. And the little girl trombone player, like in the class, and then when she came over to his crib, you know, like she could play too. Like, okay, yeah, this is the music is awesome in that movie. But the places that I didn't like it as much, and I appreciate what you said off screen, you know, Chuck, that this movie is not as simple as many others, but there was a couple of contrasting themes. Okay, one thing was the fact that he was working as a band director, and that really wasn't his passion. He wanted to be a performer, and he was fighting again. He wanted to give everything he had in order to get to that level. And his mom was like really fighting him, you know, like you should get a job that has benefits and all these type of things. In my opinion, if they wanted to go with the theme that they went with, then the mom should not have been there as a character, or should not have been given her particular portion in it, because now you got two things. One of them is like, okay, I'm trying to achieve everything I can, and here's this person trying to stop me. But the overarching part of the movie is the fact that your passion is not your spark. Basically, it's not your purpose. Whatever your passion is shouldn't completely take over your life to the detriment of everything else. You know, so, and that's a good point. I feel you there. But if that's going to be your point, then the mom's character shouldn't have been there as the antagonist of a completely different point. You know, whatever your point is, you should have antagonists that are against that point, not a different point. You know. Also, I guess as a musician myself, it really felt weird that once he achieved that very first gig, like the first gig, he was already like, okay, what happens next? Yeah, she's like, oh, you we do it again tomorrow. Yeah, you do it again tomorrow. Like, yeah, you spent your whole life doing this. I guess as a musician, you know, like that would be like incredible to me. Like, oh, I get to perform again tomorrow. Now, it would have made more sense to me if maybe after doing this for some time, like he achieved his goal, and then maybe after some weeks or some months, he's like, okay, I've been doing this for a while. I thought I would feel differently. And I understand that the movie, it only had so much time to be able to make its point. So they probably had to try to, you know, to shorten that a little bit. But to me, it just, that kind of took away from the point. The fact that it was like, oh, he got there on that particular day, one performance in, after working his whole life to get to that one goal, and here you get the chance to do, as a musician, again, what it is that you love, what it is that you're passionate about, and after one time, like, you're done. You know, that was just weird to me. In my last my last minute here, I'm gonna just say, I wasn't feeling 22. I think 22 could have been cast with somebody differently. Her personality just I wasn't really feeling it. I like the character of 22 as far as like taking over Joe's body and experiencing food and things like that. I like that. I thought that was cool. But the overall character, the voice of the character, I kind of found it a little annoying myself. I wish they had gone.
She said that's why she chose the voice. Like, clearly in the movie. That was her purpose. Yeah,
annoying, but not in a relatable, like, I want to, like, hey, I'm actually starting to like this person and I want to see them succeed type of annoying. Particularly,
you just never liked the period, like, even when she, you know, found her spark or turned to a zombie thing. It's like, I don't like it.
Well, I would have liked it better if she hadn't tried to steal Joe's body.
You thinking it's your body. Oh, real quick before, I know your time is going, but I had little comments to say with the mom thing. So to me, what they were they didn't give a clear picture of the actual meaning and plot of the movie at that time. So at that time, we as the audience think that the gift that we have is the purpose. So we're thinking she is the antagonist, I guess, in the movie, meaning on that particular part of the movie, because we don't think that, hey, no, that's not going to be your purpose, because that's kind of what it showed us. The purpose is what you're good at, and that's what makes you you. So when she was saying, I think she was more there to say, hey, I don't think she didn't want her son to succeed, but she was just like, she wanted him to settle. Like, you're like 40, 50, 60 years old. you need to settle and find something regular so you can support yourself. Because I'm supporting you. Like, which all mothers and all parents will say to their kids, especially once they get past that 30-year-old range and they still looking for gigs and needing help and assistance. They're like, you need to get yourself together.
Right.
So that's what it kind of reminds me of. And the last part when you were saying, how was that your last point?
That was the best point. Whatever the last one I said, it was like
no, not the last one. You
mind-blowing
had at one point right after that. I slipped my brain. I had a perfect response.
People are yelling at the screen like, Charlie, I know what you're talking about. Rashad did this incredible thing, and now it's them. The fact that I didn't like 22.
You talked about the mom, and what was the second thing you said?
I said I didn't like 22, or the fact that as a musician, again, once he got to that level, like after one gig,
that's it.
He was done.
Okay. So I was thinking this when you said that. I was like, well, I think he felt that way because he's died before. Like, if you never died before and it was the end and you saw your life, like, he thought this was going to be that's what the spark was. That was the meaning of life. And then, because he died already. So it's like, when he felt that, he's like, I don't feel that much different than I did before. Like, yeah, I felt good in the moment, but I died already. So is that feeling that they talk about, or is it something more missing here? So I think he was battling because he's already, passed on and seen everything. Mm-hmm. So he was like judging that moment as like, that's what everybody says is the most, that's what life is about. That's what he thought life was about. And I think that's what him just learning, that it's not just about your skill or just about your passion. You have to live life and enjoy life. Yeah. And that's the meaning of it.
I see, for me, it's kind of like he was just really getting started on his venture through life.
He died. You know how you get started if you die.
Yeah, forget all that. I'm talking about as far as being a musician. He just landed his first real gig. Like, he could go on from there in order to be, to play with this person and that person. That was his first person he ever played with.
That's
he
great.
Go on from there to become like a great solo musician and have this incredible life. But he could have had that.
Rashad.
Yes.
That's great if you ain't died and seen everything. If you ain't died, went up to see what everything's about. Right. You went into the hall of everything.
Yeah, and now he's coming back. Back and looking at the little seeds on the ground. Really? Is that?
I mean, maybe it's like the meaning of life, but that wasn't his. That was hers. That was her thing, like seeing life, like the how precious life is. Yeah. Because remember, 22 didn't think life was important. That's why she didn't want to have it. Right. But she didn't want to go through that. So he was, on the other hand, he was like, he thought he knew what life was about, and then the thing that he thought was the highest of what would mean, I guess, greatness in his eyes. He didn't feel the spark. He didn't feel the overjoy of the moment. It's like, that was good, but is that it? Man, I'm gonna go die now, I guess.
I guess, Chuck, I'll say again that the movie doesn't relate to me personally, simply because I have that belief. You know what I mean? Like, in my life personally, like, I can relate to that character because I have things that I'm trying to accomplish and things in my life, and I haven't gotten there yet. In a lot of ways, I've had some victories, but I've had some losses as well. And so I do have that thing where it's like, I believe that once I get there, it's going to be like, oh man, like, yes, I'm above the clouds and I'm seeing everything. Mm-hmm. And I guess for me, I don't want to believe that if I get above the clouds and here I am in the sky looking at the sun, that I'll be disappointed, because that would just unravel everything I'm working at. So that's why I say, for me, it's hard for me to accept the message of this movie, because how it makes me feel personally. That's why I say I think a lot of other people will really like this movie. And I really appreciate what you said again off screen, that I think this movie, if the purpose of this movie is to make you think about your life, then I think this movie is very good. If that's what his intention was, to think about your passion and your purpose, and not only that, but also realizing that while you are going after your purpose or your passion in life, that you're also looking at everything else and that you're appreciating everything else in life. If that's what the purpose of the movie was, then I think it did a great job of doing that.
I agree.
So how many chucks will you give this movie, sir?
I'll give it 7 chucks.
7 chucks.
7 out of 10, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It was a pretty good movie. Had a good, really good message.
Okay, I'm going to give this drum roll from the jazz drummer. 7.125 chucks. Yeah, I got to do the decimals. Yeah, I think
you might as well get an 8 then. If you giving it okay, bad, I might as well give it an 8.
I didn't say the movie was bad. I never said the movie was bad. I just said I didn't like it. I didn't say the movie was bad.
Hold on. You didn't like it, but it's not bad.
Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. There are foods that you and I can agree on or prepare it very well, but you might like it and I might not, and vice versa.
It tastes bad to me. My opinion is bad. Ugh, I didn't like it. It's bad. It's like, okay. I'll go with that. Well, I'll say 8 chucks then. I definitely got to beat you because at least I like the movie.
So what are your thoughts? I'm sure most of you will agree with Chuck, but I know that there are some people, because I found at least one person out there that agreed with me as far as maybe he didn't care for the movie that much. So what do you think? Please leave your comments in the comment section. Give us a like, and as usual, you've got to subscribe
to survive.
This is Color Commentary, where we give you views from a different side.
Saturday morning.